I want to break down a word that gets thrown around so loosely you think it's just another style or a trend. And that word is gangster. We're talking about gangsterism, the culture around it, and how it's evolved or devolved over time. I want to compare the original gangsters to what we see today in the city, and I want to tell you that it's indicative of a deeper issue, a psychological and social condition called arrested development. Reason being is because a lot of these behaviors we see today aren't just criminal, they're immature. They're signs of emotional and mental stagnation. So let me define a couple of terms, set the foundation, and get to the heart of this thing. All right. Let's start with gangster. Gangster originally didn't just mean someone who broke the law. It meant someone who moved with strategy, discipline, and structure. In the early 1900s, Italian, Irish, and Jewish gangsters were organized. Ruthless? Yes, but calculated. They built underground empires. There were codes, rules, and consequences. They understood power, influence, and economics. Now I'm not glorifying them, nor am I portraying and pretending to be a gangster. But I am acknowledging that what they created had order and intention. Their gangsterism, gangster culture, was about power consolidation, protection, and profit. Now, fast forward to today. Let's be real. What we're seeing now in many inner cities is a distorted version of that. We've got youth calling themselves gangsters because they're carrying guns, doing drills, posting bodies online, rapping about their antics and dying before 21. That's not gangsterism, people. That's chaos. And it's rooted in something deeper, a loss or a lack of identity, purpose, and guidance. That brings me to another term, that term being gangsterism. In this raw form, gangsterism is an organized practice of operating outside of the law, through criminal enterprise or even social rebellion. But modern gangsters among young black and brown youth is often unorganized, reactive, and short-sighted. Instead of being built on strategy, it's driven by trauma. Instead of building power, it's wasting potential. What we see now is a gangsterism. It's survivalism under extreme dysfunction. A lot of these kids are trying to be Al Capone, John Gotti, Scarface, or Frank Lucas. They're just trying to not be the next name on a t-shirt. But the music, the movies, the culture, it's selling them the image of gangster life without the context, the consequences, or the clarity. Now let's get to the real root, arrested development. This is a psychological term that refers to a person being stuck in a certain emotional or mental state, usually due to trauma, neglect, or lack of proper socialization. And if that doesn't describe what's going on in the hood, I don't know what does. We have generations of young men and women emotionally stuck at 14. They've never seen healthy relationships. They've never seen healthy masculinity or femininity. Never seen conflict resolved without violence. Never had consistent love, structure, or correction. So they grow up physically, but psychologically and emotionally, they stay in survival mode. They seek validation in the streets, in the gang, in the persona of a gangster, in the group, in the crowd. Why? Because it gives them a sense of identity and control they never had. This is arrested development. This arrested development fuels the behavior we see today. Impulsiveness, violence over petty issues, glorifying prison and things, disrespecting elders, and rejecting structure. These aren't grown men and women. They're traumatized boys and girls in adult bodies. The tragic part is that the original gangsters were about building. This new wave is about destroying communities, families, and most of all, themselves. And I'm not pointing fingers. I'm calling out the pattern. Because we got to start calling things what it is. This is a gangster. This is grief. This is pain. This is misdirection. And we got to meet it with truth, with mentorship, with accountability, and with opportunities for these men and women. Why? Because until we redefine manhood and community leadership, we'll keep losing kids to a culture that's never going to love them back. So here's the takeaway. Being a gangster isn't about pulling triggers. It's about pulling people out of the fire. It's about control. Not over others, but over yourself, over your emotions, your decisions, your future. And if you really want to be something in this world, be a builder. Build your mind, build your discipline, build your family. That's the new gangsterism. That's what needs to be glorified. Because if we keep feeding this arrested, outdated, broken image of what it means to be hard, we'll just feed a system that profits off of our pain. That's it for today. I hope this hits you somewhere real. If you know a young brother or sister out here playing with that street image, share this with them. Let them hear it from someone who ain't judging, just speaking truth. Until next time, I'm Von Frank. Keep it solid, keep it focused, and remember, real power is peace. It's not chaos. Keep it gangster.